I was going to make a video defending this thing, but the more I looked into it, the more I understood why it's known as the world's worst tank. Kia ora everyone, today we're learning about the Semple tank. If you're interested in World War II era history, then you probably know about this thing. But for those of you who don't know this special little guy, welcome, let's laugh together. This nutrient-deficient distin was the 5-minute craft ideas of Robert Bob Semple, the Minister of Works from 1935 to 1943. In the 1940s, New Zealand was genuinely terrified of a Japanese invasion. Islands were being overtaken, and America's reluctance to join in the beginning meant that many Pacific nations believed they'd be facing the Japanese alone. New Zealand is extremely remote, and at the time had very little resources. Though we had some heavy industries that could be converted into armament production, very little was done to. Instead, Kiwi ingenuity was the plan for defences, and we built many improvised armoured trucks very quickly. See, we didn't have a large stockpile of war machines and weapons, and a lot of our top officials relied on the idea that Britain would provide. And here goes the comments. What do you mean? New Zealand had weapons and supplies, and England even gave them 6 spring gun carriers. Yeah, because we're going to stop a Japanese invasion with 6 little tykes and a couple of muskets. Let me remind you, Australia lost a war to emus. Emus don't have kamikaze pilots or thumbs. As I said, small country, fuck all. But we did have 100 D8 Caterpillar tractors. They aren't the ideal military vehicle, but hey, they had a big engine, some tracks, so it's halfway there, right? 81 of these tractors were in use around the country, and a further 19 were sitting around collecting dust. So Robert set off with a vague plan and a bunch of fuck all. The plan was to have the tractor free for its usual work with a pre-made tank body nearby. If shit hits the fan, go back to the workshop, bolt the body on, defend the homeland. Easy days. They pulled 3 of the D8 Caterpillars aside and started working on prototypes. Alterations were made to the driver's controls, and mounts were attached to the chassis. 8mm thick corrugated iron was used for armoured plating, with the idea that the ribbing would deflect bullets. But to be honest, it only made it look like the Iron Giant beat the fuck out of a silo. I mean, look at it. It's a farming implement wrapped in tinfoil. And if you're not one to judge a book by its cover, here's some key points. It was 12 feet tall and 25 tons-ish, with a max speed of 10 kilometers an hour, or for you Americans out there, 6 miles. Because it was 12 feet tall, it was prone to rolling badly, and the instability while moving led to Stevie Wonder levels of accuracy. The armour plating was improvised due to the shortage of the real ship from the UK and US, hence the reason why it was made out of corrugated fucking iron. It had 6 spring guns, 1 on each side, 1 at the rear, and 2 facing forward. One of the gunners had to lay on the hot diesel engine, because there was no room inside. The D8 Caterpillar gearbox had to be upgraded, because they knew it wouldn't be able to handle the weight, as well as the 37mm cannon that they planned to slap on it. Do you want to know the cherry on top? They weren't able to get any cannons sent from America or England, so they slapped a 6th spring gun in the turret and called it a day. They basically just made a reusable nail bomb. A fucking airsoft tank. News of the tank spread around the country, and it was quickly coined the Semple tank. Unfortunately, Robert Semple's political rivals publicly scrutinised the tank and tried to use it as propaganda against him. One statement being that they're a waste of money. However, they didn't cost that much. To be fair, they were made with shit lying around. As I said earlier, only 3 prototypes were made. The first prototype costed $7,450 US, roughly $168,000 in 2024. The second and third cost $5,460 US each, roughly $123,000 US in 2024, for a grand total of $18,370 US, or 414,000 2024 tokens. And for a comparison,
we have an air-to-surface rolling airframe missile. These have a range of about 5 miles and cost just under $1 million US to fire.
The link to the full video is in the description below. Fortunately, in the end, they weren't needed. New Zealand knew that there wasn't going to be much need for them once the Americans entered the war. So, they did what any government would. They put them in a museum to be able to teach the next generations. No, I'm kidding. They destroyed them. All of them. The prototypes were deconstructed. The caterpillars went back to being hungry, and the tank bodies got turned into cow stops and number 8 wire. It's really sad, to be honest. I was hoping that there'd be one in a museum somewhere, but or even a replica. That would have been sick. I won't defend the honour of this tank, but I will defend the man who made it. In a political exchange, Robert Semple put it simply, quote, "It was plain as day that the Japanese would strike through the back door to Singapore, island hopping to New Zealand. So what stopped them this way?" Another politician mockingly said, "Probably your tanks, Bob." He quickly responded, "If that is a cheap sneer, you keep it. I had the vision to create something, while you lot of others were just sniveling." In the end, with a little willpower and a lack of care for people's opinions, maybe you can get shit done too.